Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. First of all, I wanted to really thank Dr. Fareeha for writing this article
Thank you.
because I feel like the main gist, what we really understand from this article is that, and from these pictures that you've put up, Dr. Fareeha, is that the world has taken a turn in which we are looking increasingly to our own nufus and our own selves and some selfish desire uh, and fulfilling that nafs in order to seek some type of happiness or seek some type of fulfillment. And I think people have lost the vision that you can't have the fulfillment through gratifying the nafs,
Yes.
okay, or our own fancies about what will make us happy, because we've lost touch with the basic teachings of Islam, which are the basic teachings of where you will find happiness, right? And so I think once we refocus on finding happiness through focusing on the pleasure of Allah, that's where we can understand where, for example, Dr. Fareeha's message is coming from, which is the original message of Islam. Like, for example, even recently, the Western philosophers like Pascal and others, they mentioned the hole in the heart of man is a God-shaped hole.
Subhanallah.
And that's been iterated over time if you look at the philosophers. And so we are trying to fill it in this age of cell phones and the age of me and the age of I can do it or whatever, believe in myself. I keep trying to fill that hole in my heart with more of me and more fulfilling my desires. And I think this is a sad situation because nobody is telling us, we're not telling each other that this is not where we're going to find the happiness. So that's the first thing that came to mind actually when I read this article, the basic idea here.
Fareeha, can I ask you about something that you just said? I mean, so I completely agree, and I think that all of that sentiment was there also present, inshallah, in the article about the cell phone age and us being so focused on ourselves and all of that. But then there's like this other element of the fact that I think there are people who are God conscious. There are women even who want to do the right thing and who are wearing their hijab. And we're talking about women who wear hijab. This article is basically addressed to women who are already wearing hijab, right? How do you take that to the next level type of thing? And it's like you're wearing hijab. Like, for example, the woman that I mentioned earlier, the Sudanese, intelligent girl. She's probably in her early 20s. I don't know. She's very intelligent. She's doing everything that she's supposed to be doing. And yet she feels like this emptiness. And it's not necessarily because she doesn't care. She actually mentions that she's like, the only thing that keeps me grounded is her Iman and Allah and her Iman in Allah. She actually says that in one of the posts, right? But at the same time, why does she feel so hard? Why is she so hard on herself? And I think a lot of that has to do with us having imbibed at a very, very deep level some of these messages that are now being like put out like cartoons here. We've been our American culture or Western culture, British culture. I know there are people here from all around the world, mashallah, today in our session. But that message is something that we're so unaware of. It's almost like the Tawheed of Islamic society of the past, that it's that ingrained. It's like, I have to be something different. I have to be someone unique to make my mark in the world, because that is what that is what it means to be a human being, to be an individual, and to be this like autonomous being who defines her own destiny. And it sounds wonderful to the girls here, like where I'm right now in the Middle East. It sounds like, oh, that's so exciting. I can define my own future. But it's like, do you realize what that means? Like, you're going to define your own future, girl. You are all on your own. And it's like, that is so daunting and it is so scary. And I think a lot of us as Westerners, it's sort of like been there, done that. But we don't know what's wrong. We don't know where the problem is. And so I don't know if that makes any sense to you, but
It fully makes sense. Actually, it fully makes sense. And we have to remember that the idea of growth in Islam and a journey in Islam, it's not like you have a static, a static Iman or a static rank that you have attained in your deen, and it's just enough and it's going to last forever. Rather, Islam is a constant upward call from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if there is a hole in someone's, in a way, it's a mercy. Allah's calling you ever closer, ever closer.
Right.
And if you stop in the moment and look to the latest trend for what will fill that, like, okay, I've had enough of my deen, I'm fine, I fulfilled my fara'id and everything's going to be fine. And then you realize that it's not static. Even your fard is not static. You have to nurture it. It's a garden. You have to tend to it. Like the example of the soul is a rose bush, right? If you don't tend to it, trim it back, deadhead it, it won't continue to blossom
Deadheaded?
within.
I've never heard that. What's deadheaded?
It's when you,
So
that's when you
deadheading
take the buds that are dead on the,
Mm.
when the flower is gone and there's still that bit there, and you have to get it. Otherwise it's sapping energy
Oh, wow.
from the plant.
Mm-hmm.
I
Okay.
think, right,
Yeah.
Fareeha? Say it.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, and it won't. No new blossoms can come until you've, broken off those withered, crispy, dried heads, as well as trimmed back some of the stems and leaves. And so this is the idea of trimming back your dunya and what you're looking at for fulfillment. Trim it back, until
MashaAllah.
that blossom inside can grow and that hole stops feeling so big, right?
MashaAllah.
That's a great example. It's a great
It is.
analogy. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
MashaAllah. Thank you.